Hedges, Ditches and Dreams. Part 1. Chapter 1. The Road South. Everything I need I have upon my back as I set off southward. A sleeping bag, a change of clothes, a toothbrush, some soap, a penknife, a book. In my pocket I have a little precious money, and on my lips a song. It's May. The hedgerows are ablaze with blossom, and the air so sweet it's intoxicating. I'm off to seek romance and adventure. Striding out through a summer landscape, over the hill, through dale, all the world and all my life's opening up before me. I'll meet whatever may come. I'll follow my heart and make my dreams come true. This beats a grey career making money. Getting myself expelled from school had been the first step to my taking to a life on the road. The way opened out to me as I stepped through those grand gates for the last time. Lacking any ambition whatsoever at school, I couldn't stay in those classrooms. I'd wander through the windows to where the summer sun was raging in the woods and hills. One thing did catch my attention. My French master saying to the class that it would be well worth our while spending the summer holidays on bicycles in France, or walking. You can live on 10 shillings a day, he'd said. Well, I'm learning to live on a lot less than 10 shillings a day as I trudge south. A girl with auburn hair passes on a bicycle, a long loaf under her arm, the end bitten off. "Allô," she flashes me wide eyes, giggles, is gone, leaving the air scented like a rose and me perturbed to dream of her and take her in my heart over the blue hills. It's surely such as she at the root of my restlessness, my yearning. A troubadour song rises to my lips. She on whom my heart is set far away, so fair is she, so noble, that I would accept captivity in pagan lands for one glance from her eyes. There's no shortage of fruit lining the roads. Cherries and peaches are plenty hanging from trees which sag under the weight of them. But I can't live on fruit alone. A man needs bread. Money's running out, and I'm facing, for the first time in my life, the prospect of being absolutely penniless. I'm going to have to devise a means of pepping up my finances. Perhaps I can sell peaches, I laugh at the sheer audacity of the idea of nicking them from the orchards and selling them at the side of the road. What else could I do? I could be a shoeshine boy, buy brushes and polish with the money which remains to me, and polish the footwear of the citizens of the towns I pass through. I like that idea. Maybe I'll have a crack at it. Let's see, what else could I do? I am by nature impractical, but necessity will make me resourceful. I've been rationing myself to a loaf of bread and cheese a day, now just the loaf of bread, and I'm a little more than skin and bone. But I'm free, and that's the main thing, free from the tyranny of senseless work. But why? Why have I not thought it before? That the bottles that litter the beaches and fill the bins along the roads, aren't they worth something? Don't they have some kind of a price on their heads? Of course they do, ranging from 5 centimes to 30. Bingo! I'll fill my belly. So, combing the beaches in the evenings when the tourists have headed home, leaving their litter behind them, I always get enough for a meal, a bottle of wine, a packet of cigarettes. Whilst cleaning up the beaches and recycling glass, I'm providing fuel for the vehicle in which I live and move and have my being. Nothing that I've learnt at school can be compared with what I'm learning now. In fact, it's now that my real schooling's beginning. I'm learning to become intelligent about down-to-earth things, like filling my belly, for instance, and about people of the everyday world. I'm learning, though tottering like an infant at the outset, to stand on my feet in the world into which I've walked, how not to be hoodwinked by every Tom, Dick and Harry that crosses my path. And I'm learning about myself, of whom I'm as ignorant as I am about others. I have a long, long way to go, but a journey of 1,000 miles begins beneath one's feet, and these are the first steps. And so I drift along the coast, the translucent Côte d'Azur, tasting for the first time the life, the carefree life of a tramp. I'm surviving, and I'm alive. Surviving means to get oneself in whatever way one can, from one day to another. Being alive means to taste every moment of those days. I meet others, young and old, who for 1,001 reasons are on the road. Some by choice, most by circumstance. Tramps, thieves, jugglers, fire-eaters, musicians, dice throwers, pimps, card sharps, acrobats, prostitutes, murderers, deserters, madmen, poets. They're all down here at street level, lining the path I'm taking, each with his story, each with his dream. You'll come across this underworld community in any town in France, existing as a substrata, shifting and changing, but always there, in winter or summer, rain or shine, hanging around the fountain in the square, each with his bottle, his indispensable bottle of rouge. It's invariably this motley gaggle that gives me my first welcome upon arriving in a strange town. I'm hailed as I cross the square. "Hey, copain!" Handed a bottle, offered some bread, asked from whence I hail. "Ah, English!" I glean some information about the town, where the soup kitchen is, where the Red Cross offices are. These hand out clothes, where one can doss down for the night in comparative safety, meaning out of the eyes of the law. What the citizens are like, friendly or hostile, how the police behave, and that kind of thing. Like a little theatre, a sideshow, a town within a town which generates its own economy and makes its own laws, there are laws amongst outlaws. This stage in the square is animated day and night by its gesticulating actors acting their pieces, sometimes comic, mostly sad. Periodically the cops arrive and drag everyone away to a delousing station and then deposit them on the road, some miles out of town. A day or two, and everyone's back again. Such is life on La Canebière, that teeming thoroughfare in the city of Marseille. Arriving one evening, flat broke, hungry and a bit timid, I'm glad of that familiar "Hey, copain," with which a ragged assembly around a bench have greeted me. On going over to them, I'm offered a bottle from which I drink. Amongst them is a German fellow who introduces himself as Jürgen. He's stout, jovial-looking, with a mop of unkempt hair and a beard. "This is my dog, Wolf." "Hey, Wolf," he calls out to a lean, lively-looking Alsatian burrowing in a dustbin nearby. "Wolf, come." "Wolf and I make good business," he tells me, ruffling the dog's head affectionately. "When every day we are begging together, he by obligation must not fat become. Understand, yeah? The people are seeing fat dogs and they are unbelieving he is hungry, unbelieving that he's not good for business, no good for begging." "Ah, yes, I understand." Jorgen asks for food for his dog. "The people are better liking dogs than people. They give the money for the dog, not for me. So I can much eat and get fat. But not Wolf. He must by obligation stay thin." He chuckles. So do I. It seems quite absurd what he's saying, but it makes sense. It makes perfect sense. People do prefer dogs on the whole. "Here, drink, mein Freund." He hands me the bottle of Kronenberg beer from which he's drinking. "Danke." "You are begging too? Oh, no." "Then how are you money making?" Empty bottles." "Empty bottles?" He fairly explodes with laughter. "Oh, mein Freund, you won't find the empty bottle for 10 kilometers around here. Every man is looking for the empty bottle. You must beg. You never beg, eh?" He tilts his shaggy bearded head on one side and looks at me. "Yeah, you not know how. I teach you. Watch." Calling to his dog Wolf, to him. He sets off along the Cannebière, going up to everyone he passes. He points at Wolfe, who becomes quiet and subdued. And then I see money being given to this wily, jolly German chap. Everyone he approaches gives him something, as far as I can see, and in just a few minutes he's back, his pockets absolutely chock-a-block, and an enormous grin upon his face. "It's easy, mein Freund. Now you are trying, and then we have a little drink together, yeah?" But it's the hardest thing in the world for me. It goes against everything I've been brought up to believe in. It goes painfully against my pride. I sink to that? No, never. But I do. I have to. And it does me the world of good. Jürgen, as my first teacher of la manche, the sleeve, as it's called in France, looks pleased with me when I arrive back after my first foray along the Cannebière with a fistful of francs, enough for a little drink. And so I have a new skill up my sleeve, under my hat, so to speak. Jürgen had been some kind of debt collector in Germany. He'd had to go around and get money off people who wouldn't pay their debts, sometimes by using force. He doesn't look the type to get nasty. He seems far too easygoing and benevolent for that. There'd been good money in the job, and usually people paid up immediately when he turned up on their doorstep, for he'd assume a threatening manner. But then one day he was sent along to this young woman's house. She had a child, no work, and a lot of debts. There was no way she could pay. His job demanded that he become threatening with her, and so he got her up against the wall, emptied her pockets of every damned pfennig she had in them, turned the house upside down for anything she might have concealed, and told her he'd be back for the rest of what she owed the next day, so she'd better beg, steal or borrow, because he wasn't playing around. It was like the job had me turned into a beast with no heart, and I had lost the control of myself and all the feelings that are human. The poor young woman, I am still seeing her face white from fear, and I am shouting like a beast. The next day, he returned to her house with the money he'd taken from her, plus all that she'd need to pay off her debts. He begged her forgiveness for his violence on the day before, which she, weeping hysterically, gave. He quit his job and took to the road. "This is the life more applicable to my nature," he said, "and still I am living like a collectioner of the debts, but I am not obliged to be angry when the people they are not giving the money."